We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel, smash the like button, ring the notification bell, share the video if you want to support this college football's rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get to super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is April 14th. I see Caleb Ramirez is in the house. The Georgia Bulldogs, Don Scruggs is here. Adam, hello PATC from Go Gators. Esmith Tox is in the house. He's on vacation south of the border with his head on a swivel. Jose, oh boy. The USC Trojan is in the chat room. And tonight, I should say, the PATC puts its hot spotlight on the USC Trojans. Now again, I have made a guarantee. I should not. Let me make him a little bit more clear. Greg the GOAT. Greg the Gold has guaranteed the USC Trojans are going to make the college football playoffs. So if you have just joined our family, and if you don't know that, I'm letting you know now before we put the spotlight on the USC Trojans. I mean, again, our spotlight series, we're just hitting some main points of every single team in the FBS. We'll go over it all again late July and August. I mean, this is a national college football YouTube channel. I cover every single Power 4 program team. I cover everything. We cover everything in college football. The reason why we're starting so early this year, because I don't know what the heck is going to come down the road in a very short period of time. I don't know if we're going to have all this. I think we have to start this earlier than usual. So yesterday we did the Miami Hurricanes. Today we're doing the USC Trojans. And I'm not even gonna break down all the returning starters on the USC offensive line. I'm not even going to break down the other parts, the other offensive line talent, depth that they brought in. Because we got other things we got to talk about the USC Trojans on. They're going to make the playoffs. Lincoln Riley is going to make the playoffs. However, I have to say I'm a little nervous. We'll get into it in a moment here. We'll get into a moment. Don't worry about it. Coy, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Son of Sarek, USC's not 2 years away. No, you misspelled throne as throne. Karan Shakar. Hold on. Well, I'll fix that after the show. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Zero Wiz, I apologized yesterday for my forgetfulness on the Spotlight series. I thought you had new information about Miami's realignment movement. No problem. We were a missed field goal and an interception away from upsetting Notre Dame. Now, again, Maava is going to have to cut down those interceptions, those risky throws. He's going to have to cut that down a little bit. It's what has me a little bit nervous, but I'm still confident. Don't relax, Jose. Relax, fight on Trojans across the country. Relax. We got this. But it is that early part of the schedule. We're going to go over it. The early part of that USC football schedule. We're going to know early. We're going to know early in the night if the USC Trojans are going to be able to make the college football playoffs. I got them as a yes. And we're going to go over that. Also, we are going to be going over Matt Hayes' article once again. Our dear friend, USA Today, the Southeastern Conference, voice of reason? Is he turning into a voice of reason? The lagging indicator of the Big Ten taking over the throne, Throne, not throne, Thrown. I am the original Minnesota moron. The lagging indicator is the NFL draft. Right? The Big Ten, okay. The Big Ten's won a national championship. Okay. The Big Ten won back-to-back national champions. Okay. The Big Ten has won back-to-back national champions. They've got a great bowl record. head-to-head against the SEC. They're doing just great. Whatever. But what about the NFL draft? The SEC's been dominating for decades. This year, it is the lagging indicator. It's the last one that seems to pop, and it looks like it's going to pop here in a little bit in this year's NFL draft. It sounds like the Big Ten is projected to take over the last indicator of being football royalty when it comes to college football. Don Scruggs, the SEC has always been the calm, collected, reasonable fan base. Y'all.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel
Ray, Greg the Gold, Buckeyes winning it all this year. I don't need to be told that. Not I. PATC College Football Playoff 2026 Championship prediction. The Buckeyes defeat the Longhorns in the national championship game. So, yeah. I'm all over it, Ray. I've got it, Ray. Greg the Gold has spoken, Ray. But today, it is going to be the USC Spotlight Series. They're the team that we're going to be putting under the spotlight. Edward the Auburn Tiger is in the house. Thanks for coming on in. Ray Klein is here. Go Bucks. Don Scruggs, Coy, the Cornhusker, Skaven, yes, Bob Swanger. Don Scruggs, the Trojan, looks so tiny. Well, you know what, Don Scruggs, Georgia Bulldog, you better get your shot in right now. You better get your shot in right now. If you look at my playoff predictions, if I can find them ever again, USC, I got us the 10th seed, playing Christopher Hooters, Ryan Brooks's, Rodney Richborg, Go Black 45. They're LSU Tigers. I got USC against LSU. And I got Georgia against Indiana. It could very well be USC versus Georgia in the first round, Don Scruggs. It very well could be Maeva versus Stockton. So buckle up. Grateful Trojan is in the house. Grateful Trojan, he is here to talk about some USC Trojans. Again, this is our second team under the spotlight. Yesterday we did Miami. We're going to go through all the teams. We're going to dig deep. We're going to break down the tape. We're going to analyze everybody on every roster. Kind of, sort of, not really. But we are going to be doing something a little bit different this year. When we're breaking down the spotlight, when we're doing the spotlight on the team, we're going to be bringing up a name that really nobody knows about. Most people don't know about outside of that core fan base. We're going to be bringing up, usually it's going to be like a true freshman who might make an impact. Yesterday's live show, the spotlight on Miami Hurricanes, we brought up their safety, J.J. Dunnigan, who is making a lot of waves in practice, the true freshman. We've got two true freshmen in the spotlight for USC tonight. Two of them. Not one, but two. One on offense, one on defense. So we're going to be talking about that. And, now I forget the name. What happened to that USC safety? Bishop, I can't remember the guy's last name. My mind is just gone. Bishop, he made a bunch of interceptions last year. What is his last name? Bishop, the guy who made like 6 or 5, he came on strong. Jose, Grateful Trojan. What's the guy's name? Bishop something. Fitzgerald. Not Fitzsimmons. Fitzgerald. Bishop Fitzgerald. Man, my mind is gone. But Fitzsimmons made me remember. Okay, what happened? He's in the NFL draft? I didn't even know he was in the NFL draft. I thought he was coming back to USC this year. So I'm breaking down USC. I've got all these reasons why I think they're going to make the playoffs. And Bishop Fitzgerald was going to be one of the guys. And then I find out he's in the NFL draft. I had no idea. But that's not going to change my prediction. That is not going to change my prediction. No problem, Grateful Trojan. You got this brain working. When I saw Fitzsimmons, Fitzgerald. So thank you, Grateful Trojan. We produce NFL talent too quick. I thought for sure he would be back, and anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna go through all that. Let me finish off the roll call here. BYU football's in the house. Bob Swanger, Karan Shakar, Zero Wiz, you're going to be under the spotlight, Zero Wiz. You're going to be under the spotlight sooner or later. Buckeye Greg is in the house. Kenneth Maynard, just as the last indicator moves, the SEC takes it all back. Christopher Hooter, calm, collected, and cocky is the SEC fan base. Dante's Inferno Purgatory. Greg's going to go down. The Gopher is going to go down. Oh, I'm not going down. I'm going up. This is the 2026 Greg the Gold Redemption Tour. It's already started. It has already started. Frank Potter, don't know anything about that. D5 Terps is in the house. D5 Terps is in the house. Walker Lyons transferred to BYU. Okay, here we go. First of all, thank you all for coming on in. You know how it works. Later on in the program, the phone lines will be open. And when you make a phone call, the floor is completely yours. You can talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. It does not have to be about the USC Trojans. It does not have to be about the Matt Hayes' article today. It doesn't have to be about anything that I talk about. The floor is yours. Same with the Super Chat. Super Chat, you can talk about anything. I'm going to talk about what you talk about in that Super Chat. And the other comments, I'm going to pick and choose mainly the comments that have to do with what we're talking about on our show today. The Almighty is in the house. The Almighty is in the house. Okay, let's do it. Let's get into the USC Trojans spotlight. First of all, and then after we're done with the spotlight on the Trojans, we're going to go into Matt Hayes' article. The Lagan indicator of the Big Ten sitting on the throne. It could all be happening during this NFL draft. Hold on one second. I gotta get this up here. Hold on. That late September, early October schedule for the USC Trojans, we'll get to that in a moment. Mark Baumann, which we're not even going to talk about today. I mean, we should, but we're not. There's so many guys that we could have talked about in the Spotlight series. But the tight end, Mark Baumann, yeah, it's just another player we could have talked about. We're going to be talking about the USC Trojans all off season. They're going to go to the playoffs. They've got they've got it. They've got the talent. It's assembled. Some of it is extremely young, but some of it is ready to go. That offensive line, again, we're not even going to be talking about that offensive line unit. I've got the names. You want to hear the names? I've got the names. But again, USC's got so much talent. Killian O'Connor, Elijah Page, Tobias Raymond, Justin Tawanu, and Alani Noah, all these returning starters on offense. I'm not even going to take any time. I just took a little time, didn't I? When you've got an offensive line that is coming back, and they ran the ball the way they ran the ball last year, when you've got a quarterback who just came off his truly first year as a starter when it comes to a Power 4 program, Big Ten, yeah, they've got some pieces they got to replace. They might have to rely on a couple of true freshmen. There's a reason why I don't have the USC Trojans winning the Big Ten. There is a reason why I don't have the USC Trojans coming in second. There's a reason I don't have the USC Trojans coming in third. But there is a reason I have the Trojans coming in fourth, slipping ahead of Michigan, slipping ahead of Illinois, slipping ahead of Washington, slipping ahead of everybody else except for Oregon, except for Indiana and the Buckeyes. Because they got a whole lot of talent. Let's get to it. USC Spotlight Series. It starts with this man, Jaden Maiava. 3,700 yards passing last year. 3,700 yards. Yesterday on the first team we had under the spotlight, Darren Mensah, 3,900 yards. 500 passing attempts. Maiava, 3,700 yards. 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he could have had a little bit more. There's some drop passes. Maiava's don't be such a risk taker. Calm down, young man. 65.8 completion percentage. A very good 157.8 quarterback rating. Yes, Carla, I'll get to you, Super Chat. I do have USC number 4 and going to the playoffs, no question about it. It's a guarantee. It's a Greg the Gold guarantee, no question. USC number 4 in the Big Ten, and USC number 10 going against the LSU Tigers in the first round. They're going to be playing in LSU. That's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. All right, back to the series. The Spotlight series on the USC Trojans. Now, Jaden Maiava, the guy's a thoroughbred, right? The guy is an absolute thoroughbred. But he only ran for 157 yards last year. Now, of course, that has sacks component into it, but he did not take off as much as you think he did. Not like he did with UNLV his first year as a starting quarterback as a freshman in college football. Jaden Maiava, again, there's going to have to be some replacements at wide receiver. He's got one hell of a backfield. We're going to get to that in a moment. But Jaden Maiava, one more year under Lincoln Riley. He's going to be at the very top of the Big Ten quarterbacks along with Julian Sand, along with Dante Moore, along with probably Josh Hoover, possibly Bryce Underwood, Jada Mayava, the starting quarterback for USC, but it is the running game. It is the absolute running game. Raymond Jordan in 6 games. Remember, USC had injuries last year at the running back position. 6 games, he ran for 576 yards. 6.5 yards per rush. 5 rushing TDs. Just the beginning of this incredible career that Waymon Jordan is going to have. The USC backfield is absolutely stacked. King Miller, 972 yards rushing. 6.2 average per rush. Jordan 6.5. Miller 6.2. The offensive line is returning. The offensive line is all returning. Eight rushing touchdowns. Waymon Jordan, King Miller, Jada Mayava. And you've got an offensive line that is all coming back. A running game, an elite running game that is going to be even more elite in 2026. Now, before we get on to the stuff that worries me about USC, there's a couple of guys that you want to keep a mind of here. Booby Feaster, Ethan Feaster, true freshman, DeSoto, Texas, 247, ranked him as number 4 wide receiver in the nation. Excuse me. 53 offers. Booby Feaster. USC is expecting him to produce as a true freshman. When you got all that great running game, all that great running game at USC, and you can rip on Lincoln Riley for not winning enough, I guess, but you can't rip on his offensive IQ. Booby Feaster. Keep an eye on him. They're very excited about him. They are very excited about him in Southern California. But here is another guy that they're talking about during spring camp. The guy that is stealing the show during spring camp when it comes to the true freshman is on the defensive side of the ball. Albert Hill IV, true freshman cornerback from Akron, Ohio, 247, had him ranked as the 8th ranked cornerback in the 2026 class. But he's already turning heads. Lincoln Riley, the head coach, is talking about Albert Hill in public. When you're a true freshman at USC and you've got your head coach talking about you in the month of April, you're doing something right. An early enrollee, Albert Hill, cornerback USC. And again, I could have done a whole bunch of names here for USC. But I wanted to make sure because I think everybody believes that Booby Feaster is going to be a player. He's going to produce somewhat. Albert Hill is going to produce somewhat, and these are the names that I wanted to bring out for everybody. And that's what we're going to do with every Spotlight team. At least bring out one guy that a lot of people have never heard of unless you are a fan of that team. Now, here is the issue with USC. Gary Patterson's the new defensive coordinator. We know that USC is going to have to make some improvement on defense. No question about it. Take a look at this schedule here. They begin their Big Ten schedule at Rutgers. All right. San Jose State, Fresno, University of Louisiana, then they're at Rutgers. September 26th, at home against Oregon. On October 3rd, at home against Washington. So USC has got their rival games out of the Pacific Coast at home. But the thing is, it's back-to-back. Back-to-back. And then they got to make the trip next week all the way to Penn State. And then if they survive that, they got to go into Madison, where they do the hop around after the third quarter. And then if they survive that, they got the Buckeyes and Indiana. Now, again, I've got USC coming in fourth place, right? I've got Oregon coming in second place. I've got Indiana coming in third place. So what do I have? What do I have? I've got USC winning one of these games, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I do not believe that a 9-3 USC team that loses to Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana is going to make the playoffs. If they lose all three of those games and beat everybody else, their highest ranked win is probably going to be Washington. Probably. It might be UCLA. It might be Maryland, whatever. But USC needs to beat Oregon, Buckeyes, or Indiana. If they go 9-3 and if they win one of those games and one of those three teams are fantastic, then USC can make the playoffs at 9-3. But you can't lose all three and then go 9-3. So, USC is going to have to beat Washington, and they're probably going to have to win Oregon, Buckeyes, or Indiana. And I've got them doing that. I got them doing that. They played the Ducks, the Huskies, and the Buckeyes all at home. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I looked at the schedule, the game that I have USC winning is against Indiana. At Indiana. But I still have Indiana ranked ahead of USC. Anyways, so USC they've got a challenge out in front of them. That football schedule is going to be tricky. Muhahaha, good one. I got Indiana going back to back, but I might be just a bit biased. It's not Lincoln Riley's defense. It's Gary Patterson's defense. The kiss of death from Greg the Gold. The Razorback. Nick Kelso is burying me today. Burying me. Anyways, that is the USC Trojans. That is the spotlight. Once again, we'll go through it once real quick. Jaden Mayava, who's going to have a spectacular year this year. Their running backs, Waymon Jordan, King Miller, and then keep your eye on Bobby Feaster, Albert Hill, and they've got a whole host of players. USC Fighting Trojans. That concludes our spotlight on the Trojans. And tomorrow there's going to be a new team we put on the spotlight. Who knows who it's going to be? I know who it's going to be, but I'm not going to let you all know. You've got to put us. You got to subscribe. You got to get us notified, and we'll come on in on your phone, on your TV. Spotlight series continues tomorrow. We've got 2 teams done. We got about another 65, 66, 67 left to go. And I can't wait. I love it. I love it. All right. Matt Hayes. Our dear friend Matt Hayes, USA Today. April 14th, early this morning. I don't believe the Big Ten has really passed the SEC. You don't believe the Big Ten has really passed the SEC? Watch the 2026 NFL Draft. We're less than 2 weeks away from the final tell, the statement that could send shockwaves through the mighty SEC. The NFL Draft, and more specifically, the SEC's unassellable place in it. No other conference produces NFL talent like the SEC. No other conference has more players on NFL rosters. And now here comes the surging Big Ten with its 3 consecutive national championships from 3 teams, primed for another red flag shift at the top of college football. If Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana winning the past 3 national titles didn't do it for you, if the SEC missing the past 3 national title games didn't clearly underscore a massive shift at the top of the sport, the NFL Draft will leave no doubt. For 19 years, the SEC has had more players drafted than any conference. A near 2-decade run that coincides with its dominance on the field. LSU started the conference run of 14 national titles this century with a win over Oklahoma in the 2003 national title game. The dominance on the field and in the draft has been unrivaled until now. Until the era of NIL and the free player movement changed everything. Until the Big Ten, with its deep pocket alumni bases, significant upgrades at the head coach and assistant coach position, has blown by the SEC in the passing lane. Matt Hayes, USA Today. All the way to the top of college football. It's not just the national titles. It's bowl games and head-to-head matchups over the past 3 seasons too. Since 2023, the Big Ten is 11-4 in the college football playoff. The SEC is 5-8. But the NFL Draft, it's the final frontier. The SEC held a slim 77-71 edge in total selections over the Big Ten last year. The last and final move of this remarkable paradigm shift within the power structure of the sport could play out later this month. It won't take long to see where this is headed. Day one of the draft could pull back the curtain. The SEC holds the record for the most first-round selections in a season with 15 that happened in 2020 and 2025, and is led or tied for the most first-round picks in 14 of the past 15 years, including a whopping 170 since 2010. In this latest mock draft of the USA Today Sports, Nate Davis predicts 12 Big Ten players will be selected in the first round and 7 for the SEC. But like every draft, the projected 33 to 43 picks are also first round worthy. So the Big Ten's number could still increase depending on how the first round shakes out. That puts the league within striking distance of the record of 15, an opening salvo in what could be a generational change in the draft. So the SEC can ignore the 3 national titles in a row. It can ignore the 2024 postseason when it pushed for South Carolina and Alabama to make the CFP, and both were beaten by Big Ten schools, Illinois and Michigan respectively, in the bowl games. It can ignore, the SEC can ignore last year when Vanderbilt and Texas were the 2 teams that were left out of the CFP, and Vanderbilt lost to Iowa in a bowl game. Texas did defeat Michigan. It can ignore Southern California and Oregon at number 1 and number 2 in the 247 Sports composite recruiting rankings for the class of 2026, and the Big Ten with 5 of the first 12 in the rankings and 8 of the top 30. While it's still a long way from the 13 of the SEC's 16 programs in the top 30, the fact that we're even talking about the inroads made by the Big Ten in high school recruiting is a massive red flag. And you can, if you want, Don Scruggs, Christopher Hooter, and the rest of you, if you want to ignore the Golden Gopher propaganda, do it at your own peril. Do it at your own peril. Recruiting leads to player development. Player development leads to championships. And championships play leads to an increased presence in the NFL draft. Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza will be the first player selected in the draft. The Buckeyes could have as many as 5 selections in the first 10 picks. And that's just the beginning of what could be a glorious Big Ten affair at the NFL's annual player procurement party. And then finally in the article, deny it all you want, SEC honks. The Big Ten is the new king of college football. The official crown will be placed on its head after the NFL draft. What has happened to Matt Hayes? Who kidnapped Matt Hayes? Who is this imposter that is calling himself Matt Hayes, writing all these Big Ten propaganda articles? What is going on? What is going on? I think Matt Hayes really wants the SEC to say bye-bye to the NCAA and bye-bye to basically everybody, except for maybe the Big Ten. I think this might be Matt Hayes' way of not only dousing the gasoline, but lighting the match. He's like, before it was, the SEC's got nothing to worry about, complete domination, the Big Ten is a joke, Tony Petitti's an idiot, and now it's the Big Ten has taken the throne, and the last leg and indicator is about to reveal that the Big Ten has taken the throne, the NFL draft. I think we're going to hear a lot from Matt Hayes going into the May meetings in Destin, Florida. And we're going to be covering Matt Hayes. We're going to be covering Matt Hayes. We are going to be covering Matt Hayes. That's what we're going to do. We've always loved Matt Hayes here at Peek Around the Corner. You know that. You know that. We've always loved Matt Hayes. Carla Jenkins, so you project USC as the 4th Big Ten CFP team. Yes, thank you so much, Carla Jenkins, for your super chat. Appreciate the $2 holler. I do. Now, they're going to have to pull. They're going to have to. They're going to have to pull an upset. They're going to have to beat Oregon, or they're going to have to beat the Buckeyes, or they're going to have to beat Indiana. And then they can go in as a 10-2 USC team, or possibly make it as a 9-3 team. But they got to beat one of those teams, and then that team's got to go 11-1, 12-1, win the Big Ten championship. There is a pathway for USC, and I think they're good enough. I think they're going to run over everybody. I think they're going to run over a really good team. At some point in the season, they're going to run over somebody. Some really, really, really good team. I don't know if that's going to be the Ducks. I don't know if that's going to be your beloved Buckeyes, Carla Jenkins. I don't know if that's going to be the Hoosiers. But this USC Trojan team is going to be a running football team. They're going to shorten the game, and that defense is going to be improved. Isaiah Gentry is coming back, right? Now he's coming back. Bishop Fitzgerald's not coming back, but I believe Isaiah Gentry is coming back. Somebody please tell me Isaiah Gentry is coming back. Anyways, thank you, Carla Jenkins. Holy smokes. Massive super chat. My goodness. Woo! OBD done. Okay, Big Ten. Throwing 2 elbows. For a conference that hasn't won 2 national championships in a row, you sure are cocky saying this and that. And you've never seen anything like this. All Big Ten folks in Michigan did not win the Natty. Boy, fast forward 3 years, and now you act like what you hated most, an SEC fan. Boy, there's a lot of truth to that. Those Big Ten bootlickers, nothing bothers me more than a Big Ten bootlicker. I absolutely agree, OBD Dunn. I absolutely agree. But you know, Matt Hayes wrote this article. Paul Feinbaum. You listening to Paul Feinbaum lately? The SEC mouthpieces, the SEC voices are throwing elbows at the SEC. I believe the Southeastern Conference is going to get off the mat. I got Texas Longhorns in the championship game. I've got LSU in the playoffs. I've got Ole Miss in the playoffs. I've got Georgia in the playoffs. I just have the Buckeyes winning it. I think Jeremiah Smith is going to be a legendary college football playoff player this year. I don't think he's going to be denied. I think he's going to win his second national championship. I could be wrong. Probably not, because I'm Greg the Gold this year. OP, I'm Greg the Gold. But I think after this year, everyone's going to say the Southeastern Conference is back. I've said that. They're going to get off the mat. And the biggest reason the SEC is going to get off the mat this year is because of the great experienced quarterbacks they've got in that conference. Arch Manning, now he's got the year under his belt. Sam Leavitt, holy smokes, you know how much I love Sam Leavitt. Gunnar Stockton, just another year under his belt. Now Alabama, I think you're probably hearing what I'm hearing. Keelan Russell seems to be taking over. A lot of people in the South who went to that scrimmage said Keelan Russell outperformed Austin Mack, and Keelan Russell made some throws, some legitimate throws. Anyways, yeah, those Big Ten bootlickers, they bother me to no end. The Iowa Hawkeyes, they get caught cheating. They went after Cade McNamara before he went to the portal, and the Iowa Hawkeyes had to vacate some of their wins in 2023. It just so happens to be the 1 year that the Gophers defeated the Hawkeyes, so we can't even take advantage of that. But the Iowa Hawkeyes cheat and they vacate wins. The Michigan Wolverines do in-person scouting that nobody else is doing. At least there's no evidence at this point. And everybody's tampering. Like Iowa, Iowa vacates the win and the Wolverines maintain their national championship. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, OPD Don. Thank you for the $1 holler. Hey, look, OPD Don. He's ready this year. That was a shot. You Big Ten people out there, that was a shot. That was a shot across the bow. You've won 3 in a row. Good for you, Big Ten. Good for you. Good for you. But the SEC's ready to take over. You've had your fun. You've had your fun. And now we're going to crush you. Now we're going to crush you. OPD Don, thank you so much for your generosity, your incredible kindness. Holy smokes. And the support that you have given us. Wow. Thank you, OPD Don. Christopher Hooter, he's supporting you. He's supporting you. Another LSU Tiger, purple and gold. Greg, here is the SEC. It just means more. Football, basketball, softball, and baseball. $2 holler. Thank you, Christopher Hooter. I appreciate it. Now this is what I like to see. This is what I like to see. Here we go. Kenneth Maynor. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you very much. Kenneth Maynor, the Big Ten has turned into what they hated the most, is correct. Just a Dollar General version. Wow. And the Big Ten people would be chanting Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten if there was 3 syllables to it. Like SEC, SEC. The Big Ten people would be chanting something. They'd be chanting their conference name if it had another syllable to it. Right? I think so. I think so. I'm glad I'm a Golden Gopher and I'm above all this. Right? We Golden Gophers, we can't stand the Big Ten just as much as we can't stand the SEC. Carla Jenkins, $5 holla. Carla Jenkins, Ohio State has 95 first-round NFL draft picks. Projected to have top 410 picks. If the Buckeyes get 100, you won't be able to tell the Big Ten nothing. Wow. Wow. You know, the last 6 or 7 years, or the last 4 years on this channel, I've been bragging about the Golden Gophers and how well they've done in the NFL draft. The Golden Gophers are only one of 6 programs that have had a guy drafted in the first 2 rounds the last 6 or 7. No, we're one of the 9 programs that have had a player drafted in the first or second round the last 6 years. The other 8 programs are all blue blood programs, all helmet schools. And then there's the Golden Gophers. Well, you're not going to hear a peep out of me this year. Because this year, the Golden Gophers is the bad news and good news. The bad news is the Gophers are not going to have anybody drafted in the first 2 rounds. They're not going to have many people drafted at all. The good news is the man who was going to be drafted in the first or second round, Anthony Smith, 12.5 sacks, come back this year for Minnesota. The good news is Minnesota's 7th in the country in return in production. All these guys are coming back to Minnesota except for, I forget what that guy's name. The guy who went to Oregon, Corey Pirich. Yeah, that's the name. That's the name. OPD Don. Thank you, Carla Jenkins. I appreciate OPD Don. He's not done yet. OBD done is not done yet. Yes, it's scary on what our SEC homers are all saying, but what they are saying behind closed doors, it's a coming. It's a coming fast. You're going to be super busy. I'm taking 2 L's on my SEC and Tigers last year. What does he mean? What does Opie mean? Behind closed doors. What is coming? What is coming fast? Why is he saying I'm going to be super busy? And Opie's going to be taking an L in his LSU Tigers. Okay. SEC, all right. All right, I understand that. I mean, I had Texas beating Clemson, so I have to take an L. I had Georgia winning the year before that. I have to take an L. I've been taking a lot of L's. Not this year, though. Not this year. Look, Opie is saying, look, buckle up and brace for impact. And I think what Opie means is we got to watch out during the season because the SEC is going to start dominating once again. But I think Opie might be saying before the season starts, look out. Look out. Don, OPD Don, thank you so much for your massive super chat, your incredible generosity. OPD Don has made some strong statements tonight. He's had it. He's had it in everything. He's had it with the Big Ten bootlickers. He's had it with the Big 12, the Ace. He's had it with everybody. Lane Kiffin, he's tired of people picking the LSU Tigers, the SEC going to make this story. And now look what's going on. Now look what is going on. We've got Don Scruggs. We have secrets here in the South, and we ain't sharing. We ain't sharing. BB and Greg, I know you know this story. What story? What are you guys talking about? What are you guys talking about? Corey Pirch was not able to go to the NFL draft this year, and he would not have been a top first pick. You don't lead the Big Ten in missed tackles and get drafted in the first round. Sky Yuma has 3 syllables. That's true. Rossini announced his resignation. That's fine. Is that the secret? I don't think that's the secret. That is a big super chat, Greg. No question about it. OPD Don, massive super chat. All right, so we went through the Matt Hayes' article. Some people are not very happy with that article. But again, the NFL draft, the Big Ten's going to do good. My Gophers are not going to do good. Whatever. But really, it gets down to this year, doesn't it? What happens this year? And I think the biggest thing that the SEC's got going for it is Gunnar Stockton, Trinidad Chambliss, Sam Levitt, Arch Manning. My goodness. Think about, and then I know a lot of y'all think I'm crazy, and that's fine. Think I'm crazy now. Think I'm a genius later, but Kenny Minchey. Kentucky's not going to be very good this year, but after you watch Kenny Minchey, you're going to be thinking about the 2027 Kentucky Wildcats. Lenore Sellers, I don't talk enough about Lenore Sellers. Shame on me. 2 years ago, he was outstanding. Last year, they went back a little bit. They got rid of their offensive coordinator. They brought in Bryles. They got rid of Mike Shula. Of course, Minnesota picked him up as an offensive analyst, which blows my mind. Not happy about that, but The SEC's loaded at quarterback, absolutely loaded at quarterback, and they're ready to go. And they're ready to go. We've got another super chat from OBD Don. Yes. Okay, throwing two knees now. SEC 16 teams. Big Ten, there's 18 teams. So it takes two more Big Ten teams to surpass the SEC. We won't look at total numbers, Opie. We won't be Big Ten bootlickers on this show. We'll take the average per team. Who's got the most average per team? All right? And again, my Gophers might not have anybody drafted. So we're going to hurt the Big Ten average. We're not going to help this year, Big Ten teams. We're not going to help Indiana. We're not going to help any of you. Yes, I'm back in the chair. You know what? I'm going to alternate. Chair, standing, chair, standing. I'm definitely going to do this chair when we're doing the watch parties. I can't do 4.5 hours standing up. An old fat guy like me cannot do that. So we're going to have to alternate. Standing chair, standing chair. I got a birthday coming up on April 23rd. Another year around the sun. I can't be standing for 4.5 hours playing the mariachi music, yelling at my football team, having another game not going my way against the spread. You know, I got a lot of issues here. A lot of issues. Christopher Hooter, super chat. Greg, let's do a PATC convention, Vegas 2026, Labor Day weekend. The Little General, the keynote speaker, Caesar's Palace, let's do it. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Labor Day weekend. I got to be in the studio on Labor Day weekend. That's where look, when the college football, I love the idea, Christopher Hooter. I love the idea. And if we do something like that, if we do plan a PATC where we all get together, Las Vegas is a good spot for it. But it can't be at the start of the college football season. Because I spend my mornings, afternoons, nighttime pacing the floor on college football. I'm obsessed about it. I worry about it. I worry about my Golden Gophers, how they're going to get this 7-5, how they're going to get this 7. So I cannot leave the premises. I cannot go. I got to cover all the football games, so I'm not going to be able to do it. But somehow, some way. No, we're not going to. Thank you for the $5 holler, Christopher Hooter. Thank you so much for your generosity. We're not going to keep the scoreboard. No, we're not going to have the chalkboard. I don't know what we're going to do. I think I'm going to try to figure out how to do a virtual scoreboard. I can't bring all that chalk into this beautiful, beautiful studio. And this was not the Little General's call. I made the call. I told the Little General, no chalkboard, no chalk. Now, she was happy when I said that, but I'm the one that made the call on that. So I got to figure something out. Esmith Talks, SEC propaganda, Homer Matt Hayes, propping up the Big Ten, dumping on the SEC. Yeah, we just went through the article. I'd be in the playoffs too if I had Maryland, Rutgers, Purdue, and Northwestern on my schedule. Now, I would say in defense of the Big Ten, they've been winning playoff games. So they're getting there and they're winning. lightly. It's going to be up to the Gators to restore the order once they are in the playoff. And I love the Gators this year. I am the coward of the county for not having them finish higher. I'm going to kick myself. I'm going to make a change in August. Although now the reports on Keelan Russell has me a little nervous that I might have Alabama completely wrong. The reports out of Alabama, out of Tuscaloosa, is that Keelan Russell he's throwing some darts. Rec Talk, but Rec Talk is a smart dude. And he has a great show. The Georgia Tech Rec Talk, great show. He's got a great voice, talking voice, great personality, great dude. I was on the show with him once at College Football Mafia. Fantastic. But he's smart enough to be able to pull that off. I am going to need to stay low tech. Maybe the dry erase board. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to have to stay low tech. Okay, let's hold on one second, everybody. Hold on. We are going to open up the phone lines in just one moment. Opening up the phone lines in just one moment. The NBA playoffs start tonight. I do not have much hope for my Minnesota Timberwolves. They've been to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years, and they got beat by the Dallas Mavericks, and then they got beat by the Oklahoma City Thunder. In both of those Western Conference Finals, the Timberwolves were just outclassed. Both those teams were just better than the Timberwolves. This year, the Timberwolves have struggled. They got the 6th seed. They're going to be playing the Denver Nuggets. It's going to be a very tough series for the Timberwolves. I don't see it going very well. Yeah, Rec Talk is a Georgia Tech grad. Yep, and I'm a St. Cloud State grad. Because I could never qualify, they would never accept me at the University of Minnesota. Because, well, it's obvious why. Okay, let's open up the phone lines here. 763-260-1333. Give me a call. Talk about the USC Trojans. Talk about Matt Hayes' article. Or talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you make the phone call, the floor is yours. Other news that happened today, the college football playoffs got a new logo. Congratulations to the college football playoffs. A new logo. We also did an episode earlier today. Let me see if I still have it up here. On the private equity. Sports Business Journal broke a breaking story late last night. College sports giant Learfield is finalizing a sale to a private equity firm. That is to TPG. We go over that breaking news early this morning, so go check out episode 484. That's an episode for everybody. Go check it out when you have an opportunity. St. Cloud State Huskies, go Huskies. The only college in Minnesota that would accept the fat guy from Minnesota.
From
Jose Fight On.
Ooh, Jose Fight On. I don't know if he's going to yell at me. I don't know what he's going to do here. Go ahead, Jose. The floor is yours.
No, absolutely not. I drank the PATC Kool-Aid, and I'm on board. I'm on the USC Trojans to the playoff train. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. It's happening. It's happening. I guarantee
Buy
it.
your tickets now.
Jose's guarantee it. It's going to be USC versus LSU. Holy smokes. First round of the playoffs. Death Valley. My goodness, in the LSU Tigers, OBD Dunn, and everybody, Christopher Hooter, Ryan Brooks, Gold Black 45, Roddy Richburg. You're all going to be shaking in your boots when the Fight On Trojans go into Baton Rouge. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
All right,
yeah,
go ahead.
So we had a great game in Vegas when we played them the season opener a couple of years ago, and that's one of those when that talk was heavy about SEC big cross rival series or annual year matchups. Obviously you wouldn't have all the entire league playing, but you can get 10, 12 good matchups every year, and I was hoping that if that went through, that LSU would be our permanent partner. Because we had a great time playing them. This is fantastic team that they always assemble, and they match up great against us. But absolutely, we need one of those three big wins, and I think it's going to be the Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and to me, it's easily against the Ducks. I mean, who's their quarterback this year? Who did they get?
Dante Moore.
Yeah. So we've had lots of success against Dante Moore when he was at UCLA. We know that Mr. Beef Stew in the fourth quarter just doesn't have what it takes. He kind of, he's not the same quarterback in the fourth quarter, and that was against a a 77th ranked defense we had that year. I think 78th ranked defense when he was with UCLA. Now, granted, he didn't have as much experience as he may have now, but some Tigers don't change their stripes, and we got his number.
Wow.
So. Ducks get defeathered and grilled at the Coliseum.
Wow.
Buy your tickets now. We're going to be feasting on Ducks that night.
Now, you do have Oregon and Washington at home. Both games back-to-back. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, and Washington's had our number. They just, of course, they had Penix at the time. That was just a shootout that we got into with them that year. That season, any game we lost was never more than a touchdown, not more than one score. I think the exception being Notre Dame. But we were neck and neck with Washington, and they just ended up pulling it out at the end. And that was with Penix, the elite offense that they had at the time. Was Kellen DeBoer their coach at the time? He had to have been, right? He was still there. I think
so.
The last time we played them. Yeah. So I think I'm not saying we're gonna easily beat Washington. As long as we don't have any self-inflicted wounds, we can pull that off. So I could see us going 6-0, heading into Penn State on the road, and then I think that's when the test begins. I think we might be riding a high at 6-0, going to Penn State. We always end up fumbling one easy game, and I think that might be the one, unfortunately. But then that would force us to have to beat Indiana later on in the season. But as long as we handle our business, we can go in there and eat 2 losses against the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers on the road and be okay for the playoff.
Yep. I love everything but the schedule. The schedule worries me. I hope.
And our GM Chad Bowden said that the schedule is perfect because it is set up the exact way that we need it to prove ourselves and be in the playoff without a shadow of a doubt. Now, granted, we don't have Notre Dame, but we were making it harder on ourselves every year, more so than we needed to. A couple of years ago, we opened up with LSU, played 9 conference games, and then closed out with Notre Dame, 11 P4 games, and ESPN still gave us, the 51st strength of schedule? Like, we didn't even crack the top 50 with that schedule. So that's when Jen Cohen was like, screw it. What's the point? Let's just rack up the wins and see how it shakes out.
Yep. There's a lot of non-believers in the chat room. A lot of non-believers. Bean, USC will be disappointed again. Go ahead.
Yeah, and rightfully so. But they got to bear in mind, and rightfully so, they deserved criticism up until now. Lincoln Riley has produced a perennial top 5 offense and 3 Heisman quarterback winners. He's got the skins on his wall. The issue has never been with offense. We're always top 5. The question has always been our 77th ranked defense. Then it was a 56th ranked defense. I think last year we were in the 40s or something. If we get a top 20 defense, that's what's been holding us back, and that's where Gary Patterson comes in. Lincoln Riley doesn't call anything on defense. It's Chad Bowden's recruiting. Gary Patterson's going to be running the D. Lincoln he's just the offensive coordinator, with the head coach title. It's going to come down to Gary Patterson. If we get a top 20 defense, that's when problems are going to start happening to other schools.
Yep. Is that Isaiah Gentry coming back this year?
He might, but the problem is we're really stacked at every position. Kennedy Urlacher. Yeah. I loved when he played at nickel. I mean, he was playing like he was a middle linebacker out there, just lighting people, especially against that Notre Dame game. Ooh, he was laying the lumber out there. He was just leveling people left and right. But yeah, we're stacked at. We've got I can't remember his name. I've got too much Crown Apple right now, but we're stacked at safety, and that's what also Denton Lynn was not doing. He wasn't having an open competition for starting positions. For whatever reason, he already had anointed starters, and that just didn't produce the urgency. Because in any business, it's not the talent or the intelligence. It's the drive is the biggest factor. And if you don't have that drive to keep the guy behind you from taking your job, there's no incentive for you to keep getting better each and every day. If you're not working to get better and you're content with being stagnant, the guy behind you is going to get better and surpass you. So you're either getting better every day or getting worse every day, but no one's ever staying the same. Yeah. And that culture that Danton Lynn had in there, it was, just we're doing all right, we're doing okay, we're going to get better, but there was no drive. And that's where Gary Patterson, I think, is going to be in everyone's ear, making sure that they're getting better each and every day as they step on the field.
All right,
that's all I had to go for Godfather. I'll let Grateful Trojan call in if he's still on.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. Fight on. Beautiful. Thanks, buddy.
Fight on. Again, it's a Greg the Gold guarantee. USC Trojans making the college football playoffs. I do want to thank. I want to thank Carla Jenkins for your donations. I appreciate it very much. Your super chat, Christopher Hooter, and then OPD Don. My goodness, massive super chat. Thank you so very much, my friend. Wow. OPD Don, Carla Jenkins, Christopher Hooter. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gal, Carla Jenkins, for your support. I very much appreciate it. We're going to shut it down for the evening. We've been on the air for an hour and 17 minutes. We're going to be doing longer shows here later this week. Mighty busy here. But again, we have started our Spotlight series. Yesterday we started with Miami Hurricanes. Today was the USC Trojans. Tomorrow is going to be a whole nother team. And we're going to be covering all the breaking news in college football. April is a very dicey month. We're going to get the answer on the Nebraska 18 arbitration, either here in late April or in early May. And again, with all this other stuff buzzing around, the planes are flying around. They're going to have to land or crash at some point. Keep following us here at Peek Around the Corner. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.